Manifestation Pod. We are Louise and Sam, two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives through friendship, self-improvement, manifestation, the law of attraction, and a little bit of the magic. We look forward to you joining us on our fortnightly podcast.
Good morning. Welcome to the Manifestation Pod. Number, I can't remember. But anyway, welcome to a new episode. I am Sam Fillingham and I'm here with Louise Marshall. Hi, Louise.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. It is Sunday morning. I think I don't think I'm quite awake. I think that's why I can't remember the numbers. I've been up for like hours, but feel a bit, tired. How's your week been?
Yeah, good. I feel the same this morning. I felt really energized the last couple of days. And then, I woke up this morning. I was thinking, is first thing in the morning the best time to do the pod, really? When I've just woke up, I've still got my pajamas on. I've not brushed my teeth yet, so my mouth feels really dry and horrible, which isn't conducive to speaking, really, but I'll give it a go. I've got a coffee. We're all good. I'm checking the pod. We are pod number 24 this morning.
Oh, thank you.
Woohoo!
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. So I've not got much of a live catch-up, really, because I saw you yesterday all day. I had a very long conversation with you on Friday, which we'll talk about during the pod. But yeah, not much going on. I had a date. Oh, this is a bit of a live day. I had a date. Well, I've had 3 dates with one person. I'm just not feeling it. So on Friday, it's a bit of a weird one. I've had 3 dates with one person, met organically in a bar, asked my number, went on a couple of dates. He's got quite a complicated home situation at the moment, but a nice guy. I feel like he's quite simple and straightforward, but not very good at communicating. I don't want to say like all men, but not very good at communicating. So basically, he sent me a text message early in the week with a question on it, which I replied to, and he never came back to me. And I just thought, oh, do you know what? If you don't want to text me, don't text me. I don't care, but I'm just not down for this anymore. So yeah, I told him on Friday. I can't even remember what I said. I think I just said I'm not feeling this and left it at that. But yeah, I'm in a place at the moment where I don't want to say putting up with, because that's too strong a word, because I'm not even in the zone of getting to putting up with. Yeah. But if I don't want to say red flag, because it isn't a red flag, but if I see things that people aren't making the effort with me, I'm gone. I'm snippety snip. Yeah. I can't be bothered with that anymore. I can't be bothered thinking about, why have I not received a text message? It's just, it's just plain rude, really. I'm just not down with that. So yeah, that was my little very quick jaunt into new relationship territory and quickly got out of it.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah. We were talking about this yesterday. We were like, if someone's interested and worth your time, then they would show it by answering a text message. So yeah, rather than torturing yourself over what to do next, just that's it, move on.
Exactly. I just think life's too short, and I don't even mean just, we spoke about this yesterday, just for dating, but I honestly think if there's anyone in your life who's just not behaving in the way that you want a friend to behave, a boyfriend to behave, a girlfriend to behave, a work colleague to behave, a business associate to behave, there's plenty of lovely people out there. Get rid, move on, find your tribe, find the nice people that make you feel good about yourself and not the ones that make you second guess yourself all the time and feel like, am I being a little bit needy? Am I being needy by expecting someone to text back within 5 bloody days? No, I'm not.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think like for me, I'm feeling the same because I'm really conscious of like protecting my energy and only giving it or exchanging it with people that like feel good. but I'm not quite as good on the actions of following through on that as you are. But well, I'm working on it. I would definitely want to get better at that.
Yeah, I mean, I do think I think if you're at one end of the acting on it, I'm definitely the other. I'm quite brutal. I always have been, but I really do think life's too short.
Yeah.
And there are lots of, I think about, for example, my friends now and my work colleagues and pretty much everyone in my life I like spending time with.
Yeah.
With work, that's just luck, really, because it's work, isn't it? You don't choose your work colleagues. They just happen to work in a place where there's lovely people. But yeah, I just want nice people around me who make me feel good about myself. I can feel good about myself on my own, but I don't want people to make me feel a bit, ugh.
Yeah, completely agree. 100%. Like I had a really good week this week, and one of the days I had a co-working day in Macclesfield with like a whole new tribe of women who are just amazing, and I had the best day. So many like ideas, collaborations, just beautiful, beautiful energy, lovely conversations, and I must be making the right choices because I seem to be ending up spending more time with people like that now for the first time in my life, and it feels amazing.
Absolutely. And I think you're quite good at that. You're definitely more a step forward than I am with that. I find it difficult to find people in my
Mm-hmm.
certainly in my geographical vicinity of kind of co-working and things like that. Yeah. Good for you. It's
Yeah.
great when you meet people. I did meet someone at a networking event actually last week. Who I mean, she makes jewellery. We're not even in the same business, but she was really nice and she was starting up. And yeah, it was nice to kind of have a chat with someone about business who was in a similar situation. So yeah, but I'm going to try more of that. I'll talk about this in the pod about networking and kind of finding more people to yeah, be around. Mine's all about, yeah, in the business sense, but you can apply it to your personal life as well. Equally, I feel like I don't have much time for new friends at the moment. I'm quite happy with what I've got. Although I've made like a new bestie at work, which is great. But yeah, I really want to push myself out there in terms of making like businessy friends and
Mm.
people who I connect with on that level.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's dive into our topic for the pod then. Comfort zones. Where to begin? I think we begin with we are both doing a few things, more than a few things, that have taken us outside of our comfort zones. In coachy speak, from the many times I've been coached over the years, we're in like a stretch zone where we're doing things that are stretching us. And it was very much typified by what we randomly ended up doing yesterday, which was going to the Trafford Centre near Manchester and doing ecstatic dance and angst aerobics in the middle of the Trafford Centre where everyone could see you, which, safe to say, is not in any of our comfort zones and not exactly what we thought we would do yesterday with our girls, was it?
No, we were going to go for a walk and get some kind of fresh air and exercise. And yeah, we did something completely different. And oh God, I was outside of my comfort. It was a bit of a weird day because we did a session in the morning. And I felt really uncomfortable. And then we had like lunch and did a bit of shopping, which was lovely as ever. And then did another session. And I found the second one harder than the first one. Um, but yeah, it was, dancing in front of people.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, I was really, really uncomfortable, and I could tell by I was doing a two-step pretty much because I couldn't move from my spot. I really didn't feel comfortable. I'm glad we did it. The kids loved it. The kids were bouncing around, and I love that they got something out of it as well. But yeah, it's oh gosh, it's difficult. And I had this real moment where I was thinking about because I really do genuinely not really give a shit what people think about me. I really don't. But yesterday I did. And I was really fighting that all day. So we've got this like dance person who's like, let go, feel the energy. And I'm letting go probably 5%, but in my head I'm thinking, but I feel really uncomfortable and I want to keep my movements really small, which is the opposite to me in life. Yeah,
I
it
think
was hard.
it was hard. It really was. So set the scene for people. I don't know if anyone knows, like the Trafford Palazzo, they call it now. So it's where like Sea Life Centre and Legoland is. So massive bit of the Trafford Centre. And they'd set up a teepee in the middle, but there was no walls or barriers or anything around the teepee. So it was basically just an open teepee so everyone could see, and there wasn't like distance between you and Legoland and all of that. It was just literally people shopping, walking past, staring at the people dancing in the middle. So it was, yeah, not what we expected at all. And I definitely got there and thought, oh my gosh, what are we doing? I didn't feel comfortable either. But I kept forcing myself to like close my eyes and forget about them. And for the most part, I did. Every now and then, I'd hear like someone laughing or I'd see someone staring, and it would bring me out of it. But then I was just so enjoying the music and determined to make the most of it. And the more I did that, the euphoria was building from just dancing. But yeah, the more it went on, the better I felt, but still not comfortable. Yeah, not comfortable. Just
Yeah, I think I didn't get to that point. I think I just kept dipping in and out. There were parts that I really enjoyed it, mainly when there was not that many people around. I took my glasses off so I couldn't see anything. And I find that is really beneficial if I feel nervous or intimidated. I take my glasses off because I can't see properly. And if I can't see properly, then I can almost pretend that nobody's there. But yeah, there were parts when I thought, oh, fuck it. I don't care. It's great. And then I kept dipping in and out of that and then thinking, I do care. I feel really uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we did it. I really enjoyed it. And actually, the session itself, I would love to do that in its normal setting, like in a, I don't know, a yoga center or a studio or wherever they do this dance thing. I'd love to do that. And I'd be fine. I'd be fine in a room doing it with people. I'd have been fine in a room yesterday, but it's just you'd be doing that with people who want to do that, not with people that don't want to do it and possibly think it's a bit woo-woo walking past
yeah.
and stopping and looking. I mean, some people joined in, which was pretty cool. Some people like got it, but yeah, I was really outside my comfort zone.
Yeah, the guy that ran the ecstatic dance he was so good because he really understood like how we were feeling and how most people there were feeling, because equally I don't think he was expecting it to be as open. So, I think he guided it really well and like created a miniature safe space for us as much as he could, in that, he was saying, no disrespect to anyone that's shopping here at the Trafford Centre, but you have come here today to do something for you, to connect with you. Like, you are doing the best thing here today. And that was really that really got me in the zone, because he's right. Like, I mean, you'll know, if you've asked me many a time to go to Trafford Centre at the weekend, and I've been like, it's like the last place on earth I would ever want to go. But ask me to go and try something like that or do something like that, then yeah, like I'm there straight away. So it did kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe what I would always want the Trafford Centre to be. Somewhere to go and do stuff like that, really, because it's a really nice setting and everything. The surroundings are beautiful. So to be there to do something that's like wholesome and holistic, when previously, you've only been there to just like shop and stuff, which, as fun as it is, it's not holistic for the most part.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. It's just stressful. It's so busy. I mean, we got a bit of that when we went to get food. It was ridiculously busy. You wouldn't go if you wanted to shop in the Trafford Centre. I would never go on a Saturday day or a night or a Sunday or whenever. But yeah, I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it. Like I say, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we did it. Would I do it again? Probably not. I didn't get enough from it to go outside my comfort zone. So, for example, if you I don't know, jumped off a building and that was your thing you couldn't do and you did it and you'd feel absolutely euphoric,
Yeah.
there's a plus to that, isn't there? The payoff is you feel great afterwards.
Mm.
I didn't feel great afterwards. I felt great for some of it, for little tiny bits of it, but I didn't feel euphoric afterwards. I just felt a bit like, oh, I'm glad that's over. So I wouldn't do it again in that setting. But you're right, the guy was amazing, and what he's doing is amazing. And it was just like I was saying to you afterwards, it was just like being in a club because the music builds, people dance together, people are enjoying it, people make noises, people whistle. It was exactly the same as being in a nightclub in and from start to finish, but in a very short period, so the whole night in 1 hour. Yeah, it was good, but not in the middle of the Trafford Centre.
Yeah. See, I did get the like good feeling after it, and I felt really proud of myself because, like we talked about on the pod, haven't we, about me pushing myself out of
Yeah.
like the qigong studio and going and dancing somewhere else. So I felt like it was like the next step for me on that. But like interestingly, it didn't make me think like, oh, I can go to that self love rave now and be happy. Because what I didn't like about it was like all the other people there dancing and like the kind of slightly forced interaction with other people in that moment. Because I think for me, that comes from like, I'm just doing this for myself. Like, this dancing is all about me, and I'm not like there to feed off anyone else's energy or have interactions with people. And that's where I'm at with it at the moment, I think. So,
I get that. I
yeah.
do. And I agree with you. It did feel slightly awkward.
Mm,
However, if you were in a club
mm,
and you were in that zone on your own, you would absolutely naturally,
yeah.
when you're twirling, doing whatever,
Mm,
smile at people and interact with people. You do it absolutely organically because you're in such a good place.
mm,
They're in such a good place that it comes naturally. There's no MC going, smile at each other, hug each other, move around the room. You just do that. You go for a little wander. It's all very natural. So this was a very forced experience in that respect.
yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
it did
true.
feel a little bit audience participation-y, which if
Mm,
anyone knows me knows that's like the worst thing ever. So yeah, but I really do think I really want you to go to some kind of rave because I think you'd love it. And I think you'd actually be better not at the self-love one, because I think there might be more of the same at that. Of come on everyone, we're here to have a great time, like love your neighbour, high five. You don't do that naturally in a nightclub. If you're going to do it, you just do it. And I think for you, because you properly got into it, you'd have an epic time at an actual dance night or a rave or I think you'd love it. Not. I know you're out of your comfort zone, and whether you ever choose to do that,
yeah. Yeah.
but I just think, you would love it because all that comes very, very naturally, and that leaves you on
Mm,
such a high.
yeah. I guess though, if we're talking about comfort zones and stretching out of them, there's probably a part of me that's now thinking maybe, given how I feel so differently about it now, that it would be quite good to go and stretch myself to that. I don't know. I've literally just thought of that. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how comfortable I feel with that, but
yeah,
I feel like I could go and do it now. I think I feel one step closer to it. So we'll see. We'll see what comes
yeah.
up and what I feel comfortable with. Yeah, interesting that we're like stretching ourselves in these ways. And then after we'd done the dance and everything yesterday, and I was thinking, oh, this would be interesting to talk about on the pod and stuff. And thinking, oh, well, people think we've just done this for the pod. And then, we did. We hadn't even planned it. It was literally like late Friday night, wasn't it? That I
Yeah,
found it on Instagram, and I was like, fancy this. And I didn't even think about the pod until afterwards. And
and
yeah,
you know what? Honestly, I would never think that. If anyone actually thought that we did that just for the pod, then you think we have far more commitment to the pod than we do, because I would never do something just for the pod because I was uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't do, if I wanted to do something for the pod, if we wanted to do an episode on pushing yourself out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
I'd jump off a building. I'd do something really, really out there that would give me some benefit as well that you could really talk about, and talk about feelings and stuff. Yeah, danced in the Trafford Centre on the and it was morning as well, just to add to it. It was like 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Yeah, that's funny.
It makes me think about how like the pod is complete like organic therapy for me and you, because like we had that conversation on Friday about things that we're learning about ourselves that we're talking about in the pod, and then that event came up and we're like pushing ourselves again, and the whole pod is pushing us out of our comfort zone to begin with, and then it's like a knock-on effect, isn't it, of like things that me and you are learning about ourselves and doing because we're talking about it in this way, which are conversations we have anyway, but I don't know, there's some level of accountability in this, like publicly speaking about it. And I don't even really think about like, oh, people on the pod are going to expect me to do it. It's not that. It's the depth we talk about it on the pod that's making me do things in a different way for myself, in a really, really good way. It's really hard to explain, but
yeah. I think we did have a conversation on Friday. We had such a good conversation. I said after it, oh, I wish we'd recorded this. It would have been such a brilliant pod episode. And then we talked about talking about it today, but it almost feels like it's not as organic a conversation as it was on Friday, because I picked up the phone, you were there, we had a conversation, and it just flowed very naturally. And sometimes it's really difficult to replicate that, to replicate the energy of it and the content as well. But the pod does push us outside our comfort zone. And I think at the beginning it was because we were talking about, we'd literally go, right, what should we talk about this week? And it would be a subject area. So then we'd think about, it wouldn't be that we do things around that subject area. We just pull our experience from things that we've already done in the past, or it's been relevant, and we'd talk about that thing. But I think quite naturally, it's just evolving and evolving. And I find that in my day-to-day life that isn't obviously recorded on the pod, I feel a certain responsibility to walk that walk of what we're talking about. I can't talk on the pod about, oh yeah, cut people off if they treat you like shit, and then go and do the complete opposite of that. I can't talk about being true to yourself and being authentic and then being anything but that on here. I mean, I don't think I'm anything but that in life anyway. I'm very raw and authentic, but sometimes it would be nice to kind of put a spin on things. I think we do put a spin on things in life and paint ourselves in a better way, especially when it comes to vulnerabilities. I don't want to share my vulnerabilities with anyone particularly, but I think on the pod, it forces me to do that, because how can I not? How can you not? How can we talk about opening up and really, really digging deep in your own psyche? And then not actually doing that? We have to do that because we owe it to the fact that this is what the pod's about. And we absolutely owe it to ourselves. And I think it's a bit of a snowball that it just happens. So we talked about on Friday pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. So I went to a networking event, and I had this conversation with like a business coach who, we talked about like the way we feel about ourselves. And I said when I was younger, I used to be not that confident, so I'd channel somebody else. And I was thinking about that when I had this conversation with her, because she was saying, I was talking about social media now. I hate doing videos and I hate doing lives. And a lot of that, if I'm being really honest, is about I'm unsure about how I'm going to be perceived, and I'm nervous about that. And that it's a block. It definitely is. And I'm sure anyone who does videos feels like that. I've done corporate stuff in the past where I've had to record, and it's taken half a day because I'm just like, oh God, it's just shit. Who wants to do that? But I was talking to this woman, and so she was asking me about like the business, and I just gave her like, I was talking about it, and obviously I was being passionate because I am passionate about it. And she was like, I knew you had a business as soon as you walked in because of the way you carried yourself. You walked in so confidently. And I said to her, that's because I feel very, very confident in a business setting. I feel more confident in a business setting than I do anywhere else. And she was saying about life's not all about social media and my business all isn't just about social media and I'm making too big a deal about social media. I need to just move away from it and do other things. And she was saying you've got to get yourself out to networking events and you've got to talk to people because you will sell your business. She was so complimentary. I was like embarrassed about some of the stuff she was saying. She was like saying you're really saleable. You're really relatable. You've obviously got a product that you're passionate about, and that really comes across. And I felt like, when you're on not when you're on Dragon's Den, when you're watching Dragon's Den, and all the judges are like, all the dragons are like, oh my God, this is amazing. You're amazing. It felt a little bit like that. And I was really uncomfortable, being complimented because she was talking about me.
Yeah.
And as much as we think we like compliments, I did feel like quite uncomfortable. And that's kind of led to a bit of a breakthrough about videoing myself and going on, pushing myself out of my comfort zone for the business. So I think as much as yesterday pushed us out of our comfort zones in a kind of personal way, I really need to start doing more of this in a business way and just see what happens, really.
Yeah, just give it a whirl. Give it a whirl and just follow your instincts. Like, I don't think I told you this. Like, a really funny thing happened to me this week where I followed my instincts. So Monday morning, I went for my usual walk in the woods, and I was really low energy. In fact, I recorded a little video for the pod where I was like, I'm so low energy, I can't show my face. And it wasn't, I didn't want to show my face. It was like, I literally did not have the energy to share my face with the world that morning. But I wanted to tell people that we had, another episode out because I was proud of the episode. But after I recorded that video in the woods, I was just walking along on my own and bumped into this lovely lady and her dog, and then walked the rest of the way with her and had a really nice conversation. And she ended up inviting me to it's not really networking. So it's called like the Inner Wheel, which is kind of like a ladies group in Buxton. And she was saying, she's over the age of 60. The majority of the people that go there are over the age of 60. But she was saying, it's not a lunch club. You're not coming to make friends. We're like women who want to give back, like women of service, basically, doing stuff for the community. And I was just like super intrigued. And I thought, well, there's a reason I bumped into her because I barely bump into anyone in those woods. And it wasn't actually her dog. She was walking like her daughter's dog or something. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to follow this and just see. So it was only a couple of days later at a local hotel. And I already had plans for lunch with another friend, but I met her and I was like, fancy doing something a bit different and going to have lunch with these ladies. And luckily she was game. So we rocked up. We've been for a walk. So we were in hiking boots at this nice hotel. I was like, sorry about the hiking boots. But do you know what? It was really good. They gave a talk from this lady who had lived in Iraq in the 70s with her family. Wow. I know. And it was the most fascinating talk about like this woman's life and like how interesting that country was then, how dangerous it was, the stuff that she experienced. And this woman was over 60, and just if you'd walked up to her in the street or anywhere else, you would not have known anything of this about her life. She then went on to live in like loads of different countries and experienced so much. And I just thought like my instincts had taken me there. I'd learned something. I had a really nice lunch with them and chats afterwards. I think there was like a light bulb moment in the talk that she gave about something related to my sister, which I'm still kind of uncovering. I think that was probably the reason I went there. But it was just really interesting. I was really glad I went. I might not go again. Like, I couldn't commit to something like that with work and everything. But it was just, and I guess another example of A, following our instincts, B, pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, doing something totally different, and just seeing where it takes you. It's really interesting.
It's really good to do that, particularly, like you said, you were in a low energy mood. That whole day could have gone completely differently. You could have cancelled. You could have not spoke to the woman because you were low energy and couldn't be bothered. You could have cancelled your lunch date with your friend because you went back home in the same low energy and couldn't actually be bothered doing much that day. It could have had a completely different day where, sometimes you have those days when you just go to bed at night and you just think, that was a bit of a shit day, really. I've not done anything. I've just felt like a bit low energy, but not pulled yourself out of that. So yeah, the fact you just ended up having a good day that started a not so great day. So that in itself, on its own, is really good because that gets you forget all the actual physical things that happened. It gets your mind thinking about other things, doesn't it? So you've thought about your sister, you've thought about networking, you've thought about a woman who lived in Iraq and had a completely different life from you. Your friends might have got something out of it that you know nothing about yet. All kinds of things going on. It's all about making connections, isn't it? And you could have impacted someone else's day. Someone could have looked at you and thought, "Oh my God, look at her rocking up in her like walking boots. She doesn't give a shit. She's like really confident. She's come to this like unapologetically wearing hiking clothes because she's been on a hike and she wanted to come to this. And instead of going, oh no, I couldn't possibly do that, I've got to go home and put my face on, someone might have looked at you and been inspired by you. I think in that scenario, there's lots of different things at play. There's lots of different connections, different feelings, people vibing off each other. You don't know what you brought to the table that you're not even conscious of.
Yeah, you don't even think about it, do you? Because the lady who was in the woods and invited me is like the president or the chair of it or something, and she was so shocked that I'd actually come after just having that conversation, and she was so lovely, and there was just so many like rock star women there that they all really inspired me actually, and then I keep banging on about this event I'm doing for International Women's Day, but it got me thinking about that as well. There's so many like inspirational women that we never get chance to like sit down and find out about them a lot of the time because we're all in our own little bubbles, in our own little zones. And I don't know, it's like the more we push ourselves out of these comfort zones, the more we're going to find and do and just, women rock.
I love that. There's a thing on like Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a video clip of a library. I want to say somewhere like Stockholm, but I think I've just made that up. Where you don't borrow a book, you borrow a person. Have you seen that? And each person, like you could have a homeless person, and I don't know, an army veteran, a teacher, a single parent, somebody with 16 kids, all different people, and you sit and listen to their story. And that just got me thinking when you said that then about if you did a networking event that was just people telling the story, like everyone got like a 10-minute platform.
Yeah.
Well, it'd probably be more than 10 minutes. Jesus, if that was me, it'd be like a full day. I've had like 8 different lives. Yeah, that'd be so good. And I'm finding at the moment as well, I always gravitate to younger people. So I've got a new friend at work who actually sent me, tagged me in something, and it said, when you and your work bestie look at each other. And honest to God, she's 22. And I can't even tell you how chuffed I was that she calls me a work bestie. I love her. But I always gravitate towards younger people. But I'm finding recently that I've always not written off older people, but just not been as interested in them. And I'm definitely finding now that people, that have had a full life I mean, Jesus, there's probably people who class me in that category as old. That's just occurred to me. Shit. But there are people that are like in the 60s and 70s who have had really, they've had a life, they've got interesting stories, even without anything as extreme as living in Iraq. Even people, just people who maybe have lived in the same town the whole life. People are very interesting. And we don't spend enough time talking about like people's lives or things that are like that. I don't know. I spend too much time online at the moment. I just see so much like vacuous content about your hair and your makeup and your how to get rid of wrinkles. I mean, God, this is my own fault. This is the kind of feed I follow. But looking better, physically being better, and actually, yeah, maybe I should like start looking for different stuff and trying to seek out those conversations that really inspire you.
Yeah, it feels like we're just kind of stepping into a new era where we're going to be more interested in stuff like that, of like people's stories and people and talking more. There's definitely something in like the energy of this year that is really making me want to do that, and I can see you doing that and other people as well. And yeah, that library of people is something that's always interested me, and I just think you learn so much about yourself by meeting different people and finding out about them. And yeah, it's mega interesting. So the more we do that, the better. And it keeps making me think about like our whole original conversation about where the pod started from, of like me and you wanting to find more people like me and you that were interested in developing and finding out more about themselves and each other. And it just feels like slowly but surely starting to find more of those people as we go along.
Yeah, I am, but I think I'm still finding them in like friends rather than, I don't want to say business connections because it sounds like I just want to meet people to make money, and I absolutely don't, but to be around people. I think me and you had a conversation about like where I live geographically.
Yeah.
None of my friends live in my town. None of them. The last remaining friend I had that lived in the town, I encouraged him to bugger off to bloody Bristol. And now I'm like, why did I do that? Like, I really miss him. I miss having someone to just, be around who I can just ring and say, do you want to do this? So yeah, I definitely need to make connections in my local vicinity and find people like us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a bit of an effort with that, I think. I think I'm gonna set up a networking thing. I've been thinking about this. There's no networking near me at all. Well, not that I'm aware of anyway. So I think I'm gonna set up a networking event, and then, sometimes you've got to make it happen yourself, haven't you? If you look for something, it's not there.
Yeah.
And I'm finding in that because it feels very businessy.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't know, imagine like if you had no friends in your local town and you just wanted to make friends. I could never put an advert out saying friends wanted, but I could easily put out an advert saying like who's interested in networking, because that's exactly what they're the kind of people I want to be around. I want to have business conversations. I want to have conversations about moving your life forward and propelling your life towards those dreams and those goals that we talk about.
Exactly. Yeah.
And not waste my time with things that I'm really feeling this at the moment. I don't want to waste my time with anything that's not doing something for me.
I know what you mean. It's like those, I want to be having those important conversations, not important, like deep conversations, interesting conversations about people's lives, about their goals. Like, and when I went to the co-working, one lady sat down and the first thing she said to me was like, what you dreaming into this year? And I was like, yes, this is like conversations that I want to sit down and have, like, just not because I want to talk about that myself necessarily, but that's what I enjoy talking about, and I desperately want to hear like what other people
Exactly. Yeah.
in their lives as well, and get some inspiration from them. Like, those are the types of conversations I want to be having. Yeah, you're right. If there's nothing near you, then yeah, start one. People say that to me about books all the time because I've still not found one in my town yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like Macclesfield is where I'm going for that the most part. I'm going to Chesterfield next week as well for it. So I do think about it, but I guess because I'm finding it in other areas, I'm not that bothered. So maybe the time will come where, I don't know, if we get snowed in for a month, then I think I'll be like doing it.
Yeah.
We shall see.
People would definitely be up for that if you were snowed in for a month, because they'd be in the same situation, wouldn't they? They'd be desperate for human contact. So you've got a captive audience straight away, really.
Yeah.
I think people want to do more of that anyway. They definitely want to do networking, and people want to have these conversations. So some of the local businesses near me, there's a woman who does like, she sells crystals, and she does like Indian head massage, Reiki, things like that. There's someone, and she does it obviously because nobody does that as a business to make money. You do it because you've got a love of holistic therapies, alternative treatments. And then there's someone else who does nutrition and fitness. There's two people that do nutrition and fitness, and all that, they're people I want to connect with. They're people that, there's somebody who's got, even like the local bloody fruit and veg shop. She obviously sells fruit and veg because she wants people to eat healthily. And I'm sure we're all very similar. Voice is going. Yeah, we're all in a similar kind of industry where it's all about well-being. And yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that today.
Why not? Why not? It does make me think, actually, like maybe I could do something at the yoga studio. That would lend itself really nice to a networking event.
Yeah.
And that's supporting that yoga studio as well. Isn't it? Maybe I'll think about it. I'll plant that little seed in my mind and see where it goes.
Yeah, you could do like, it's funny, I have so many ideas for your business, and when it comes to my own, I'm like, but you could do something like, if you've got people that like have, I've got to stop saying like, have businesses. I'm trying to think about what complements yoga: healing, crystals, incense, all that kind of, let's call it woo woo for want of a better word that people will understand. You could have like an evening where people have stores and they sell it. You know what? They had in Buxton the other week. Do you remember when we accidentally, as we always do, come across these things? Something like that. That was in Buxton, an event like that where you could, because everybody, you could mix a bit of networking with a bit of getting new customers through the door as well. Yeah, something like that would be pretty good.
It would be, yeah. I'll think. We'll see. Yeah.
It's all exciting, isn't it? It's all exciting. It all makes for a very exciting life.
It does. The possibilities are endless. And
They really are.
everything is always working out for us. So
yeah, I'm definitely feeling like that. I feel like my leaning slowly into the new year, January was really quiet. I feel like February now, I feel like I can propel myself forward with business. So I got a business coach as well. This is very exciting at this thing. I've bagged myself a business coach for 6 months, which is, oh God, I need it. I need some direction, help. It's quite ironic that I sell coaching to people. And, when it comes to me, it's not really, well, it has occurred to me before, but it's finding the right coach and who to work with. And this is free, basically. So why wouldn't I take advantage of that? And she was telling me that, she's going to give me tasks to do. We're going to look at strategy, which I've got a big sheet with strategy on for the year, but there's a bit too much on it. I'm a little bit all over the place, so it'd be quite nice to have some direction.
Yeah, I think it's so good to have like someone to bounce stuff off, because like it's good with the pod for us because we've got each other for that, so we don't get stuck. We keep going because we can say like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't know how I feel. But when it's your own stuff, you don't have that same like person to bounce stuff off as much, do you? So you do get more stuck. So I think that'll help loads, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And even like the 2 minutes I had with her, I was saying about, I've got this real block around social media. I've had it all year this year. And I was saying this to her like, I just feel social media, I'm really uncomfortable with it. I'm not a tech person. Every time I think about it, I just see black. I just think, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And she just said, well, don't do social media. Go out and network. And I was like, oh, yeah. It's not that I've never thought about that, but I feel because I live in a very social media world at the moment, and we post for the pod, I post for the business, we post personal stuff on our personal pages, although not very often these days. I'm seeing that many coaches that I feel like social media is the only way to get customers, and that's where I am at the moment. And she was like, well, no, it isn't. There's lots of ways to get customers.
Yeah.
And just somebody saying that, gosh, it sounds so simple, doesn't it, afterwards?
Yeah. And well, that's why we need coaches, isn't it? That's why they're so important and make such a difference.
Yeah, they really do. So, yeah, that's all good. So I think we should invite our listeners this week to push themselves out of the comfort zone and do one thing. And I want to say as well, don't push yourself out of your comfort zone and do one thing for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Do it in a way that it will push you forward.
Yeah, do
In
something.
the area of your life that you want to move forward in and expand on. So if it's something like you've got your own business, do something that takes you outside your comfort zone that will be beneficial to your business. If it's something around, I don't know, your personal life that you really want to make new friends, meet people, find a partner, whatever it is, make that step. Do something that pushes you one step forward towards your dream and your goal, but also the one thing that does it in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, do that and see how you are. And if anyone, please feedback to us. We always ask for feedback, and we get very, very little traction with feedback from our listeners. And we know you're listening because we see the stats, and we just want to connect with you and see who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to Rebecca Dreams of Gold again, because she is right this minute in Gran Canaria, stretching herself out of her comfort zone on like a business conference away from her kids for like the first time and stuff. So I had a little message with her because I was like, you're inspiring me this weekend. Like, it's a total stretch. So yay to you for doing that, because it's massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah, I think I saw a post of hers this morning when I was having a little scroll, as you do. And it was very inspirational. Yeah. I didn't realise she was away. It wasn't like a video or anything, I don't think. It was just a post with a comment on it. But yeah, really inspirational. People are doing it. People that are listening to us are doing what we're doing. So it would be amazing to share it with us.
Get in touch, send us a DM or something like that. Voice note.
Yeah.
What have you? What are we on Instagram? Just at the Manifestation Pod on Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's in the show notes of the pod anyway. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next week because we're doing really well with our bonus weekly episodes. So let's keep it up. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Manifestation Pod with me, Sam Fillingham, and Louise Marshall. Please follow, subscribe, and rate our pod. Share with friends to support two ordinary mums living extraordinary lives.